the Lord answered. Now stop right there. Martha, Martha. For years, I glossed over that. I mean, reading this, and it never dawned on me to ask, she called her name twice. And so I started to ask the question, wow, there's other times in the Bible where God or the Lord is God, called someone by their name twice. And I started to go through the mental concordance in my mind and try to identify them. And I was able to identify all of them except one, the one about Jacob. So, but the first one in the Bible is Abraham. When Abraham's at this moment where he's being tested by the Lord to sacrifice his son, his only son, the son he loves, on the mountain that he will show him. And he's going through with the act. Okay, his son is tied up. He's on the altar, on the wood, on the altar. He's got the torch, and he's ready to slay his son with a knife. And as he's bringing the knife down, the angel of the Lord shouts from heaven, Abraham, Abraham, and he stops him. Okay, now I know you fear me. So that's the first story. Second one is Jacob, and this is the one I couldn't remember. When Jacob's old and he's on his way down to Egypt, another change in Jacob's life. Think of all the changes in his life. One last change in his life. He's going to go down to Egypt, and he's going to die in Egypt. And on his way there, the Lord interrupts him and calls him, Jacob, Jacob. And he tells him, don't be afraid. I will go down there with you. I will be with you. And Joseph, your son, will close your eyes. Meaning when you die, he will close your eyes. All right, I'm going to be with you. All right, that's the second one. The third one is Moses. Moses at the burning bush. 40 years in the wilderness. He's an 80-year-old man. He's out there, forgotten how to speak. He's like that dried up bush in the backside of nowhere, taking care of his father-in-law's sheep. Whatever calling he had on his life, it died a long time ago. And here he is out there in the middle of nowhere, taking care of sheep. And he looks up and he sees the bush, burning bush. And he hears the Lord call from the burning bush, Moses, Moses. Twice calls his name. A major event, right? And that's one of the most major events in the entire Bible, the calling of Moses and what happened in the aftermath, okay, the Exodus. Okay, the fourth one, Samuel. In the time of Eli and his two evil sons, Hophni and Phinehas, in Shiloh, is a low point in Israel's history. And the young boy is there and sleeping in the same room with, in the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, the tabernacle, wilderness tabernacle in Shiloh. He's sleeping there, and Eli's on the other side, wherever, and he hears the Lord call his name twice, Samuel, Samuel. And he tells him what the Lord tells Samuel, the young boy, what he, the Lord, is about to do. And everybody's ears will tingle when they hear it. So it's a big bust up that's coming, a big change that's coming, and what the boy says, what the Lord says to the boy, comes to pass. Okay, and that's the calling of Samuel, establishing him as a prophet. Okay, those are the four times in the Old Testament: Abraham, Jacob, Moses, and Samuel. Okay. New Testament, there's three. First one is the one we're reading right here, Martha, Martha. We'll come back to it. And that's okay. And then the next one is Simon Peter. In the Gospel of Luke, at the Last Supper, before Christ is going to his passion, his suffering, is being tortured to death, brutalized, crucified, die this agonizing death for the sins of the world. The Last Supper. And okay, this is your hour, and the power of darkness is coming down. And at that moment, he looks across the table at Simon, called Simon, Simon. Satan has demanded you, and he's going to sift you like wheat. And when you have turned again, strengthen your brothers. I pray for you that your faith will not fail you. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. So it's a major change that's happening. The greatest event of all time, Christ going to his passion, And then resurrection, that arguably the greatest event of all time, even greater than creation of the world, greater than the Exodus from Egypt. Here's the greatest event that's happening. Christ, what he's going to do. And in that moment, he calls out, his right-hand man, chief apostle, and says, Simon, Simon. Okay, it's a big deal. And lastly, the last one, number 7, there's only 7 of these in the entire Bible. 7th one is the call of Saul, Paul, on the road to Damascus. Now talk about an earth-shaking event, calling the apostle to the Gentiles. Now, who can say enough about that, right? But we're not going to try. But, he was called on the road to Damascus by the Lord himself, and his name was called twice. Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Okay, so what's the point of this? Only 7 times in the entire Bible does someone have their personal first name called by God, called by the first name twice. Only 7. And we'll set Martha's to the side because that's the point I'm going to make. If you look at all the other 6 instances, Abraham, Jacob, Moses, Samuel, Simon, and Saul, these are massive changes that are happening in that person's life and in the world, in God's purpose, in the moving forward God's purpose. Okay? So one would have to ask, it begs the question, if it's so important in all these 6, in their personal lives as well as in what God's doing in the world, one could triangulate from all those other 6 and point to the instance here in the Gospel of Luke with Martha and say, hey, if we have ears to hear, we should recognize this calling of Martha's name twice as a big deal. It's a very big deal in her personal life, and it's a very big deal in the life of the church. And one can ask yourself, why would Luke, in his literary inspired genius, writing the Gospel of Luke, which has been said to be the most beautiful book in the world, and the Gospel and the Acts of the Apostles, these 2 masterpieces, why would he bother to insert this, quote, little story of just a few verses in his Gospel? And I would say it's because it's hugely important. Okay, it's got God's fingerprints all over it. And those who have ears to hear, they're going to pay attention to this, and they're going to learn. And what are they going to learn? Just another miscellaneous Bible story? No, they're going to learn the heart of the Bible. They're going to learn what it's all about. Okay, so that's a big introduction, and we've talked about. Okay, so that's enough for now. But we've talked about what we're trying to do here. We've talked about the story of Martha and Mary, and we've compared the calling of the name twice. But there's more to say, and that's this thing about what she chose, and it's not going to be taken from her. And we could pick it up where we leave off next time. You have any questions about that? Okay, was that okay?
Beautiful.
Okay. Thank you.